if you don't know anything about politics. And so I like to create this space for people to ask questions about politics, and there's not going to be any ridicule, there's not going to be any judgment or, debating or roasting or anything like that. So if you got questions about politics, you can hit me up in the comments. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Yeah, so, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Veterans Day. Special happy Veterans Day to everybody who voted for the guy that called veterans suckers and losers. So there's a fun one to get started with. Ask me any questions that you like. There's no roasting, there's no debating, there's no judgments. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I am here to answer any and all political questions that you guys have. That is what we are doing here today. And, I didn't know anything about politics when I was growing up, and I always felt like I didn't have anybody to ask. And so I like to try to make myself available to people to answer their questions about politics. That is what we are doing here today, everybody. And you don't got to be worried that there's a dumb question. Oh, he's going to think I'm an idiot for saying this, or oh, he's going to think I'm a bad person for saying this. There's none of that. We are just here to answer your questions in good faith, trying to be as cool as we possibly can and answer these questions. I think it's important that people know about politics, and so I like to make myself available for people and their questions. Radio Man, why did Kamala run for president non-elected in her primary? Nobody ran against her in the primary. Susie Q, please explain how tariffs will impact the economy. They will raise the prices of everything, depending on what tariffs there will be. Nick is thick says there was no primary. Yeah, because nobody ran against her. Thoughts on lobbying? I don't love lobbying. It is one of the ways that we have used money in order to influence politics. And so, yeah, I think that we could definitely use some stronger regulations around lobbying. User a whole bunch of numbers says, hello, I'll see you at synagogue this Saturday. It sounds like you're being anti-Semitic, but you're really towing that line. So Des says, thoughts on Bernie Sanders? I like him. I don't think he's right about everything, but I do like him. Use and make more domestic goods, more tariffs, please. Well, we don't have everything that we need in this country. So if we need a component, if we need silicon, if we need lithium, if we need wood from other countries, we can't just grow everything that we need here. And so, yeah, tariffs will raise the cost of almost every good. Van Arabian says Biden ran in the primary, Harris didn't. Well, she was on the ticket with Biden, so there was, all the people that voted for Biden voted for Harris. It's so funny to me that these are the things that you guys are asking me about when, we've got a fascist dictatorship coming down the pike, and you guys are really concerned about whether Harris ran in the primary. Miss me with that shit. Let's see here. It's complicated because people come with beliefs and theories with no empirical evidence. Let's see here. Des says, grow or shrink the economy. Are you asking me if tariffs are going to? Tariffs are going to shrink the economy. Every economist says so. All right. Diz Jizz says, happy Trump Day. It's interesting that you would pick Veterans Day to say that, Diz Jizz, because he famously dodged the draft and also called veterans suckers and losers. So there you go. Corporate tax hike will raise prices on the consumer. That has never been true historically. Hunter911 says, I can't wait for our fascist leader to start. I mean, I hope he starts with you. CJ, are they really going to do away with Social Security and Medicare? Yes. Connotation asks, are you familiar with the false state electors plot? I'm vaguely familiar with it. If you have a question, you can ask. Thoughts on the Harris campaign being $20 million in debt? I did not hear that. I would encourage people not to just jump on any theory that they hear, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. Dizjis says he had bone spurs. Yeah, but he didn't remember what foot he had them in, so he is obviously lying about that. Daddy Trump paid for Trump to dodge the draft. That is what happened there, Dizjis. Millie Goose, have you read Republican House budget proposal? I haven't read any of the recent ones. Let's see here. London Burner says, now that Trump is about to be the president, do that mean they're going to drop his charges? Yes, I mean, they're not going to drop his charges, but he's going to appoint somebody to the Department of Justice who will drop his charges. I mean, there's also the state-run charges. Those would be a little bit harder to wiggle out of, but a sitting president cannot be indicted. So I believe that that is going to... So here's what I think is the best possible scenario for Trump going to jail would be that he is found guilty, but actually can't go to jail until he's done being president. But that's the best case scenario. I do not believe that. I don't really have a lot of faith that there's going to be any accountability coming down the pike. Diz Jizz says anti-war president, very fitting. He won't go to war. Wow, you guys really have you guys are really awesome at translating all the shitty things that Trump does to the best possible light. Unfucking believable. Let's see here. Islesman Solo, thoughts on illegal immigration. It's a very complicated system, our immigration process. There's a massive backlog of people who are trying to apply for citizenship and also who are trying to legally apply for asylum. Republicans do nothing to help with that process, and so people come here illegally because of that. The Democrats believe in a responsible way of handling that crisis. Republicans don't. So what we're going to see in the Trump administration is more internment camps for migrants, illegal migrants, children separated from their families. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that the first time he was president, because that's definitely going to happen again. Rebecca says, you're very biased. I'm not biased. I look at the information and I form my opinions based on that. Cole Carp says, who built those camps? Trump. Trump did. I know you're trying to say that Obama did, but he didn't. Trump did it. It was his philosophy. It was his policy to do that. He decided to do that, and then he lost those kids' parents. So now there's 1,000 orphaned children because of Trump. Let's see here. This guy says, nope, Obama did. Did Obama lose his parents also? Did he? Because no, he didn't. I'll save you I'll save you the hassle of having to Google it. He did not. Responsible, like not required entry through a port of entry. You guys are so silly with the specifics that you guys use to try to argue your way out of the shitty policies that Trump has and the shitty things that he has done. Well, he stole children from their migrant parents and then lost their parents. Yes, but did they adhere to Statute 57 of the legal port of entry clause? Like, fucking miss me with that shit. You know, there's right and there's wrong. And stealing children from their parents is wrong. And then losing those parents is also wrong. Let's see here. Dom says, do you have an opinion about populism? I mean, this person's calling me a liar, but they're very much misspelling liar. So congratulations, troll. Okay, you're out of here. Do I have an opinion about populism? I mean, by itself, it is not a bad thing, but it sometimes is used to convince people to vote for bad people. Let's see here. I am not spreading misinformation. Coming to the U.S. illegally is wrong. Okay. Is it also wrong to steal money from children who are dying of cancer? Is it also wrong to steal children from their parents and then lose their parents? Is it also wrong to steal American taxpayer dollars by having the Secret Service stay at your shitty-ass fucking hotel and overcharging them for their rooms? Are all those things wrong, too? Social Security, Medicare, they're gone. Where are you on the political spectrum? I'm on the left. Millie Goose says, how can he deport legal citizens? What kind of acts could he implant? I'm scared for my friends. You should 100% be scared for your friends. Millie Goose, 1,000%. So, you know, the reason why the Trump administration was not as, you know, nightmarish in his first term was because there were more safeguards, and now those safeguards are gone. There were people that he appointed to his cabinet that did not go along with all the crazy shit that he wanted to do, and those people are all gone, and he has replaced them with loyalists who will do everything that he fucking asked them to do. There are also no more moderate Republicans in the Republican Party, so all the House members and Senate members who were normal, you know, like Jeff Flake or Adam Kinzinger or Liz Cheney, they're gone. And they have all been replaced with Marjorie Taylor Greenes and Matt Gaetzes and all the shittiest people. So yeah, his cabinet is going to be all green lights. The government is going to be, you know, the Congress is going to be all green lights. The courts are going to be all green lights because he has full control of the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled that he has legal immunity. So he can literally do whatever the fuck he wants, everybody. Congratulations. I hope that if you voted for him, you are happy about that. So yeah, Millie Goose, sorry, but he is going to deport whoever the fuck he wants to. And he already said he's going to. He said that he's going to deport people who protest. So that's for all you First Amendment hawks out there, maybe worried about that shit. Okay, gonna get rid of some of these Trump spammers here. Okay. Anthony Elm says, good if they are here illegally. You guys are a little dense with regards to the right and wrong thing to do with people who are here illegally. Ernie Cavista, why does there have to be two sides? I mean, there can be more sides if you like. How the fuck do y'all take fact statistics as crying? Yeah, exactly. Ethan Fry, are you going to change your mind when none of these things happen? Sure. If Trump is a great president, even though he said he's not going to be, and even though he wasn't the first time, then yes, I will change my mind. But, it's not going to happen. This guy says, love listening to y'all cry. Well, I love blocking you. All right, let's see here. Finally, someone knows what we're talking about. Thank you, Big Sa. Let's see here. Chucky Chuck, he definitely was the first. I'm not really sure what you were saying about. Host is the epitome of the TV told me so. No, host is the epitome of I told you so. Like, I did the research, and I heard what he said, and I saw the things that he said and did, and that's where my opinions are coming from. Honest question, do you hope he becomes a good president? No hate, just curious. I would love it. Yeah, I would love it if he would, but I gave him that chance in 2016, and he did not take me up on it, so I have no faith that a worse, older, more extreme Donald Trump is going to be better than he was in 2016. All right, all these people saying cry harder, please. Thank you very much for the engagement on my live stream. Dylan, how do you differ from someone on the far left? I mean, I don't really truck with those differences, I'm sure that there are specific policies, but I don't like to find myself a specific way. 2016 was great. Yeah, it was great because he didn't have time to ruin the country yet. Can't be any worse than the last 4 years. No, it can. It can, Dean Queensberry. Good luck. Good luck with that. What's going to happen with all the people on Social Security and that they're not going to get that money anymore. If any of you guys are like in the labor market and you were really hoping for some labor protections, like you really hope that your boss just doesn't like fire you for, talking back or being gay or anything like that, those worker protections are all gone now. Congratulations. Let's see here. Don't group people. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see here. Thoughts on the Department of Education? It's going to be gone. Sorry, everybody. If you have your children in public education, that is not going to be available anymore, or it is going to be severely, reduced resources will be available to public education. So the only way that you're going to get a good education anymore is through private education. Good luck, everybody. Chucky Chuck says, Project 2025, exclamation points. All right. Cool. Now they're finally admitting that is their plan. Let's see here. Why would Republicans do this knowing it could kill their party? Did we see our last election? They're not worried about elections going forward. That's the entire point of Project 2025 is to eliminate checks and balances. They're going to take over elections. And the idea that we're going to have fair elections going forward, I don't have any faith in that whatsoever. I think people should still vote. I think people should still fight. But I had faith that we would be able to win elections going forward because they would be fair. But I do not have that faith anymore. So many old people and vets being homeless. Well, I hope you're fine with that continuing and getting worse going forward. Let's see here. Somebody say, can you please answer my question? I didn't see it, Ryan. Jay Pizzle, like completely skipping the primary and handpicking their nominee. Nobody ran against Harris, so there was nobody to vote against. Anthony Elm says, so 2024 was fair and free. It appears so far. I am open to evidence that it wasn't, but it does. I have no reason to believe that 2024 was not free and fair. All right, congratulations, Diz Jizz. Congratulations, you've been banned. Alrighty. Okay. I think it's so funny that you guys are still on about this fucking. It is so funny that you guys are still on about this fucking primary that Harris did not have. Like, what are you still mitigating here? Like, we're talking about Trump won the election, and now we're going to suffer the consequences for it. But you guys want to still be like, but can we admit that what Harris did was wrong? No, absolutely not. I'm tired of Democrats being judged by a harsher standard than Republicans are. Why care about what the Democrats did with no primary? Dana Bianco, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't care. Harris did the same as generic Democrats. Okay. I don't know what point you guys are trying to make. Yeah, and also, yeah, Daisy's right. Primary isn't even a rule. Yeah, exactly. The Democrat do what they want and don't care how they do it. I don't know what you're talking about, Dean. Republicans do that. You know, Democrats play by the rules. That's the reason why there's not going to be an insurrection on January 6th. Let's see here. Democrats didn't turn out their own voters, was their own fault. I don't agree with that. I think the Harris campaign did a great job, and me and lots of other organizers did our best to try to turn out the votes. But people believed the right-wing propaganda that they heard on the internet. And also there's an anti-incumbency bias because people do not understand cause and effect. So that is that. Let's see here. No, the Democrats just load and burn cities down and then call it a peaceful protest. Have you ever been to a fucking city? Idiot, they're still there. Let's see here. Philly didn't come out to vote, if you say so. Let's see here. Great job, LOL. She couldn't name any one of her policies. That is not true. She named many of them. And if that is an issue that you have, then I would like to introduce Donald Trump, who doesn't fucking know what the hell he's talking about at all. Let's see here. It will be nice to see MAGAs picking strawberries and cleaning rooms for minimum wage. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope that the leopards eat their face. Nothing will make me happier than if the leopards eat their face. Let's see here. Chester Cheetah gonna wreck our economy even more. Thoughts on tariffs? It's gonna increase the cost of everything. So if you need something and you can stockpile it, do it now because that's the only time it's gonna fucking, you know, these prices are just gonna go up like crazy soon. All right, let's get some more questions, everybody. They're afraid of cities. Yeah, big strong men afraid to go to cities. Oh yeah. Okay. Looking for some more questions. All right. You guys being so far left caused him to win. That is no evidence of that happening. Economy is already getting better. So nothing's happened yet. So you admit that the only thing that has changed is Trump as president. So no policies have been passed. Literally, nobody's been staffed yet. Just the idea that Trump is about to take over the economy means that the economy is finally getting better. Oh my God, the purposeful blindness of you guys. Oh my goodness. Do you honestly believe OT will not be taxed, or will companies just eliminate OT? There's not going to be any overtime going forward because, you know, Republicans are going to be in charge of the Department of Labor, which sets the rules and standards about what companies are allowed to do to their employees. And without somebody in charge who gives a shit about employee protections, then those employee protections are going to be gone. Let's see here. We know there will be no massive spending projects. I mean, there were tons of massive spending projects during the Trump administration. There were massive deficits during the Trump administration. So not really sure what you're talking about. Joanna Cole, thoughts on Robert Kennedy? He is a liar and a fraud. I don't vote based on party, instead based on person's morals. What party would I claim? Obviously the Democratic Party, because Donald Trump is one of the most immoral human beings of all time. Let's see here. Purposeful blindness of you people. We should get that put on a t-shirt. I agree, Andrea Martin, 100%. Will he remove his own citizenship since his parents were born in other countries? No, because that's the other platform of the Republican Party is rules for thee, but not for me. So they get to do whatever the fuck they want, so long as you toe the party line and say that, you know, God Emperor Trump never does anything wrong. You're allowed to break any laws that you like. It's the reason why he, it's the reason why he pardoned a guy who murdered a cop during his first term. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I learned about that pretty recently, and every time I did a live before the election, I mentioned it, but for some reason, the Back the Blue crowd, it didn't move them, the fact that he pardoned somebody who murdered a cop, you know? Let's see here. If you want to buy a new car, you better get it now. It'll be triple the price by next year. Completely agree with that. We had Keynesian economics from 2019 to 2024. I mean, an argument could be made that it was not full Keynesian because we didn't have full control of the government. We were only able to pass a handful of bills, and it is through the incredible governing and compromising ability of the Democratic Party that we were able to get bipartisan bills passed and the largest investment in green energy in our nation's history. And labor protections that had not been there previously. Lots of good things happened during the Biden administration that are not going to be happening anymore. Let's see here. Cole, they just wanted police to have full immunity and go ham because they would be impacted. Yeah, when prices go up, they'll still blame Biden. Yeah, that's the name of the game, you remember when the energy grids started going out in Texas and, Texas has been under complete Republican control for decades, and they don't even have their energy grid attached to America's energy grid. And who did they blame for when the energy started going out? They blamed solar panels, and windmills, of which there were very, very few in Texas at the time. Let's see here. Can the president change the Bill of Rights? Normally, no, but with a lawless dictator, absolutely. Andrew Martin, Blue Dot in Texas. Voter intimidation is real here. Yeah, I believe that 100%. Okay. LOL, largest green energy, LOL, wasn't good because central planning knows less than the free market side. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Alrighty here. Yeah, you guys are all just making these claims without backing things up at all. And it's like, I know this stuff, so I know when you're full of shit. Let's see here. All right, let's get some more questions here, everybody. Waiting on questions. Little light on the questions. Anthony Elms. So you are anti-free market. Does free market mean that there are zero regulations whatsoever? Because if so, then yes. Because I believe in regulations. I believe in businesses needing to have emergency exits so that their employees don't die in a fucking fire like in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. I believe that there should be regulations against companies pouring pollution into our air and water so that we don't have fucking lakes catching on fire like they did in the 70s. So yeah, I'm against that. I'm against the free market then, Anthony Elms. I'm against there not being any regulations because I believe that the government should protect people from the powerful. And that is normally what the government does. It won't be going forward, but that is normally what it does. Millie Goose, could we see a return in Jim Crow era interracial marriage back in the States? Absolutely. I'm worried about my marriage. I'm in an interracial marriage. My wife is seriously considering leaving the country because of this. We don't feel safe having a baby now. We were planning on getting pregnant. And, what if my wife has a complication and she can't get a life-saving abortion and she becomes just one of the other women that have died from preventable medical emergencies? Cole Carp says, are you kidding me? No way you just said that. No way I just said what? Rojas, Americans criticize Fidel Castro, but they voted for the same thing. In Trump? Yeah, absolutely. Starlink conspiracy theory not possible, lost Democratic votes. I would encourage you not to believe everything that you see on the internet because I'm with you. Like, I want there to be conspiracies so bad that reverses the outcome of the election, but so far no legitimate news sources have picked up that story. It is all just speculation on TikTok. So yeah, I would say be a little bit more cautious with the information that you take in. Make sure that it is verifiable from different sources. Did you see the FDA recalled butter because they didn't list milk? What is your point, Anthony Elms? That some regulations are bad? Because I said I was anti-free market because I believe in regulations. So if you're trying to argue that if you find one bad regulation, then my whole argument is wrong, because I just gave you like 5 examples of when we needed regulation, when we didn't have regulation in the past, and then we had regulation, and then things were better afterwards. But yeah, let's go tit for tat here, man, because what are you arguing? Are you arguing that there should be no regulations? Because if that's your argument, then I will give you 5 reasons why that is a dumb argument. All right, let's see here. So you are pro-bureaucracy. Makes sense. No, I'm pro people not being poisoned by their air, food, and water. I'm pro employees not being dead because their company didn't want to spend money on putting a fire exit in. I'm pro rivers not catching on fire because they're so fucking polluted. I'm pro your employer not being able to fire you just because you didn't fuck them in a storage closet or some shit. Like, that's what regulations do. Ding dong. Right. Cole Carp says, are you kidding me? No way you just said that. I'm still looking for what I said that made you say that. Big Saw says the Netherlands and Finland look nice. I'm looking into that. Yeah, I'll learn a fucking language. I don't give a shit. I agree. An employer will take those shortcuts if they can. They can and they will. So you believe in the bureaucracy saves jobs. What are you talking? You're this close, man, to getting ejected from here. Let's see here. I am from the Netherlands. Recently, when I was in Amsterdam, I saw Israeli hooligans break the city. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you think of this? Do you blame the people who fought back, and are they anti-Semitic? All right, yeah, no, that is not something that I am engaging with. Cole doesn't believe an interracial marriage could return to the States. I guess so. I guess so. Alrighty. I don't know what that means, Tim Philosophy. Maccabi football team. Don't know what that means. All right. Let the free market and citizens decide. Yeah, this guy is not arguing in faith. Okay. I don't know how many times I got to explain what the issues with the free market are for every single fucking industry. Uh, Rena. Absolutely, Rita. My patience is at absolute fucking zero. You know, I'm done. I'm done being nice to these people. It's an Israeli football team that attacked Palestinian protesters in Amsterdam. I haven't heard about that at all, Tim Philosophy. All right. It ain't what you know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Not really sure what that quote is getting at. We're not that nice. Let's see here. Yeah. Cole Karp says that he does not believe that interracial marriage could return to the States. Which I guess the only question that I would ask you then, Cole, is why did Republicans say that they were going to do that if that wasn't their intention? Big Sly, children should be taught at an early age to stay in your own lane and live and let live. I don't know if I agree with that, Big Sly. You know, we live in a community. We live in society. We depend on people. We depend on our neighbors. You know, if my neighbor decides that he's going to throw a bunch of fucking, toxic chemicals, he's just going to pour them out into the sewer, that is going to affect me. That is going to affect me and my life. So I think that we do need to take care of ourselves, but we also need to recognize that we are living with other people and that our actions have consequences for other people. Staying neutral isn't an option anymore. Completely agree with that, Arena. We got a little bit of a lighter live today. Well, that's totally fine. This one was not on the schedule. I just wanted to, I was at home and all the thoughts were bumping around. All the political thoughts were bumping around. So yeah, I thought I would come on here and see if anybody wanted any questions answered. But looks like we are a little bit light at the moment. So yeah, hit me up with your questions, everybody. Hit me up with your questions. We are answering questions today. I have jumped up to the very top, and now I'm answering the oldest questions. All right, thoughts on lobbying. If I don't have not enough time after Nick is Thick says not enough time after Biden dropped out. Yeah, I agree with that. Kamala was 100% handicapped by not having a lot of time to run her campaign, and so I thought she did a great job with the time that she had available. Okay, Millie Goose, will the Republican budget get passed in the Senate? Probably. They have full control of government, and with reconciliation, you don't need 60 votes for something to pass in the Senate. Let's see here. Andrea Marie says, how in the hell did he get the popular vote? I figured he would get the electoral vote, but not popular. All right, Andrea, so there are two things that I would say about that. Number one is there is an anti-incumbency bias happening all over the world. For the first time since I forget how long, but it's been a while, decades. Every incumbent party, left, right, and center, lost their election this year. So there's that. We were fighting that. Also, there's a lot of propaganda out there. There is a lot of propaganda out there, and it is not just Republican propaganda. There's propaganda out there from people that say that they're leftists or say that they're liberals, telling people not to go vote. What do we have here? I got the fucking stats up here, in case I forget them. There were 240 million people who were eligible to vote, but only 185 million were registered, and of those, only 155 million actually voted. So there were 55 million unregistered voters who could have voted and didn't. And there were 30 million registered voters who did not vote as well. So 85 million votes left just out there that nobody, those people just decided not to vote. And why didn't they decide to vote? I can understand the people that weren't registered because it's a little bit of a, it can be difficult if you've never voted before to figure out the process of registering and like, where do you go and what do I do? And, we live in a world where everything is kind of digitized, but the fact that you do have to mail in your voter registration, even if you do it online, I'm sure that turns some people off. But I think more than likely there was a lot of propaganda out there that was intended to depress the vote. People saying like, if you don't vote, it's a vote against the two-party system. Or if you don't vote, then it'll teach Democrats a lesson and they'll be better. Or if you don't vote, then you won't be complicit in the genocide in Gaza. And all of that is just meant to hurt Democrats. Like all of that propaganda. All the whining about Harris not having a primary. All the whining about, what is it? I have a whole fucking... I wrote a whole fucking list of these because I was so fucking tired of them. Where are they? Yeah, both sides are the same. Oh, the why didn't she fix it already narrative. Like all of that was intended to depress Turnet. And it worked. Let's see here. Tony says, are you shadow banned? Why are there only like 60 people watching? I don't know. Last time I was averaging 400 viewers last time. I guess... maybe people don't want to watch on a Monday. It's Veterans Day. Maybe people are out doing things, and maybe people are tired of politics today, or they're busy at work or something. I don't know. Dana Point Realtor: Gen Z women disappointed, and white women. Yeah, a lot of I'm not blaming specific demographics. I'm blaming specific people. There's one demographic that I will blame, and that's non-voters. Republicans, people who voted for Donald Trump, and people who didn't vote. Those are the only two people that I'm blaming for this. Ray of Sunshine: can we shrink and clone you to put in our pocket for when we need how to answer the dumpers? Or just, remember the things that I'm saying. Write them down. Paper is the thing. We don't need to invent cloning and shrinking technology when we have a pen and paper. Dana Point Realtor: Latinos voted against their own interests. It's important to remember that not all of them. I believe we still have the majority of the vote where people of color are concerned. But Trump increased his voter share of those groups, and I believe that is because of propaganda. Because of propaganda. He won with misinformation, says Dana Point. Completely agree with that. Let's see here. Millie Goose says Green Party. I don't have a problem with the Green Party, but I do have a problem with Jill Stein. Jill Stein is an agent of the Russian government. There was a podcast about this on a podcast called What a Day. You can look it up. It was from a couple of weeks ago. The title of the episode says something like, why is Jill Stein still trying to run for president? And so, yeah, they make a very convincing argument that Jill Stein is an agent of the Russian government. So, yeah, I would say that the American Green Party has lost all of its credibility. And Jill Stein very specifically has lost all of her credibility. But, there were Green parties in 11 other countries who were telling Americans not to vote for her. So, I have a little bit more faith in the Green Party of other countries than I do Americans. Ray of Sunshine: most people are in the backyard digging war shelters. I don't know. I don't know if that's the wrong thing to do. I honestly don't know if there's anything that a person could be doing to prepare for the Trump administration that I would disagree with right now. I don't know if there's anything, so long as it's not illegal and so long as it's not violent, I don't know if I would disagree with any prepping that people are doing. The only prepping that I would disagree with is people are prepping like, oh my God, everything's going to be so cheap soon. I can really spend my money now because I'm not going to need as much money going forward. That's the only prepping that I would be like, I doubt. Doubt indeed. Over on YouTube, Flonk Sauce Dragon, like and subscribe. I appreciate you, Flonk Sauce. Thank you so much. Alrighty, let's get back into some of these comments here. Raglan Rose 22. I have been living under a rock. I had no idea this would happen. When you said you have no idea this would happen, did you mean Trump winning? Because a lot of people felt that way, Singer Therapist: hey, it's my first time here, crushed by the election results. I am too, Singer Therapist. I am 100% crushed as well. Welcome to the party. I'm here to answer your questions about politics. So, if you have anything that you want me to answer, put it in the chat. We got a late audience today, so all of your questions can get answered. Cole Carp says, avoid my comment. I did not see your comment, Cole Carp. Let's see here. Scrolling back up to see if I could find it. Yeah, all I see is you responding to other people, Cole Carp. Yeah, put it again, because again, there's not a lot of comments right now, so you can definitely ask away. Yes, I thought he was done. I thought people turned on him. I mean, all the polling said that the race was extremely close. And I don't blame people for not being politically engaged. So long as you voted, and so long as you voted for Harris, I'm not mad. Let's see here. Will Social Security be decreased even if you're already on it? That I'm a little bit less sure of. But here's the thing. If Trump and the Republicans want to do something, they can. Because there's no more guardrails. There's nothing stopping them at this point. So if they want to, they will. That's the end of the story. It doesn't matter what arguments you give. It doesn't matter protesting. They're going to do the things that they want. You know, like we can give them every argument that we want for why abortion rights should be restored, but they want there to be no abortions, and so they're going to be no abortions. Thoughts on Russia or outside entity controlling, influencing this election? I think it's obvious that we are suffering from election interference from adversarial nations, and we've seen it in 2016, 2020, and 2024, and I believe the midterms as well. Cole, just put it again. I didn't see it. So yeah, it's definitely happening. We know for a fact that there are podcasters, popular right-wing podcasters, who are being paid by Russia, and I would not be surprised if there were other influencers who said that they were left-leaning who were paid for by Russia, especially the things that they were saying were things like, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I voted for Kamala Harris, or I couldn't live with myself if I voted for the party that was complicit in the genocide of Palestine, because all of that stuff decreased and depressed Democrats. And I know that saying that, people are going to be like, well, but if you did vote for Democrats, then you were complicit in the genocide in Gaza. Hold on, gotta reconnecting. So yeah, I know a lot of people who are going to be like, well, if you voted for Democrats, then you were complicit in the genocide in Gaza. And my answer to that is that Republicans are going to do worse because they said they were going to do worse. And so I voted for harm reduction for the people of Palestine, and people who didn't vote, or people who voted Republican, voted for harm increase in Palestine. So you can miss me with that bullshit. Let's see here. Kebab. K Kebab says, what do you mean by guardrails? Excellent question, K Kebab. So in 2016, when Trump entered office, he didn't know what he was doing. He was not planning on winning. So he didn't have a plan for what he was going to do when he got there. They do have a plan now, part of 2025, and that's what they're going to do. They've admitted that's what they're going to do. That's number one. Number two is there were a lot of moderate Republicans in government and in the party back then who were standing up to Trump. People like Adam Kinzinger, Jeff Flake, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney. Those people are all gone, and they have been replaced with right-wing psychopaths like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert. So that's number two. Number three is that there were people in Trump's own cabinet who were stopping him from doing crazy shit. There were people like, Mark Milley and Mike Pompeo and Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions and I think I said Mark Milley already, but, there's like a lot of them. All the ones that came out later and said that they do not endorse him and don't want to vote for him, they're the ones that stopped him from doing crazy shit when he was in office. But he's not going to make that mistake again. He's only hiring people to work in his cabinet who are going to be a green light for any crazy fucking shit that he wants to do going forward. Also, it is a much more conservative legal landscape that we're living in right now, because we have an ultra right-wing Supreme Court, and we have over 230 judges that Trump nominated and sat while he was in office, like Eileen Cannon, for example, who are fine weaponizing the court system in favor of Trump and against the people that Trump doesn't like. In addition, the Supreme Court found they released a bunch of opinions over the past 4 years that were intended to help Trump destroy the country. So number one, presidents have legal immunity for things that they do while they're in office. He didn't have legal immunity in 2016. And think about all the laws that he broke back then. Now imagine what he's going to do now that he does not have any legal immunity. Now that he has legal immunity for the things that he does. There's also the Chevron decision, which has kneecapped our agencies. So the FDA, the EPA, all the things that are supposed to protect us from pollution and poison and food quality issues and stuff like that, they no longer have, they don't have all the tools that they used to have for making sure that we are safe. And Trump is going to put people in all those positions who do not want to do what that agency is supposed to do. So last time he put a guy named Scott Pruitt in charge of the EPA. Scott Pruitt is like an oil guy. So obviously he's not going to give a shit about enforcing regulations on the oil industry because he makes all of his money from that. So yeah, shit like that. The guardrails are gone. The guardrails are gone. Project 2025 was written so that Republicans don't ever have to worry about having a free election again. And that's probably what's going to happen. So there you go. All right, Cole, let's see here. Did you... Yeah, I told you to write it again. I don't see it. I still don't see it. Let's see here. No legal AB. They'll still happen. Not really sure what that. My grandma had to have an illegal abortion in the 60s. I can't believe we're back there. Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad about that. I feel really bad about that. And I feel bad for anybody who's trying to have a baby right now, because even if you want to have a baby, you could have a medical complication that means that you will die or lose your ability to have children in the future if you do not get an abortion. There are 4 women who have died already because of this. Women have already lost their fertility because of this. There are women, even the ones who have survived, they were tortured, basically. These women just were told that the child that they wanted is dead. And they are suffering with that information. They probably already had a name picked out. They probably had the room painted and all that shit. So these people are going through hell. And then also on top of that, the doctor is like, but also you're going to die if I don't give you an abortion, and I can't give you an abortion. So maybe if you go into the parking lot, things will get worse enough that I will be able to operate on you. So women were just like bleeding out in the parking lot in pain, physical and emotional. And that's going to happen in every state now. Congratulations, Republicans. Let's see here. Deidre Hovey. There are banks of bot farms in Russia and elsewhere creating and amplifying the MAGA conspiracy bullshit. Yep. Yeah, and it's insidious. It is insidious because it is even coming from people that you do not think are on your team. Like there are leftists and self-described independents and moderates and centrists and everybody who are spreading, who if they're saying something that is specifically designed to hurt the Democratic Party, like don't vote, it doesn't do anything, the parties are the same, voting doesn't change anything, blah blah blah, then that person is a right-wing prop. And they could be being paid, or they just be what's called a useful idiot, where they have been convinced by other propagandists that is the truth, and then they're spreading that lie as well. Let's see here. Does no tax on overtime mean companies pay more in payroll taxes? Actually, don't know what that. I don't know about that, so sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, but even changing the old overtime rules is going to fuck everybody, because now it's by month versus by week. So, let's see here. What's 160 hours is what people usually work a month. They could force you to work 150 hours in 1 week and not pay you a lick of overtime. And then so long as you don't work over 10 hours the rest of the month, they owe you no overtime. Now, congratulations, everybody. Sorry. Good luck out there, everybody. OBGYNs are leaving red states. Well, they're going to have to leave America too soon, probably. Will there be any way to fight back against dictatorship? There are always ways, Millie Goose. There are always ways. But, it's harder or easier depending on who is in power and what we have in terms of checks and balances and our institutions and whatnot. Like, our institutions were severely damaged by the first Trump administration, which is part of the reason why I was out there fucking working my ass off trying to make sure that people didn't vote for him again. Because we haven't rebuilt those institutions now. And so now those institutions are weakened. They have been hobbled. And, so there's more shitty things that Trump will be able to do. Not Even a Show says, why do you talk so fast like this? Because I'm passionate, I guess. Let's see here. Chris, a whole bunch of numbers, says, can I send you a private message somewhere to elaborate on my overtime question? Sure. Again, but it's not my area of expertise. I can try to look it up for you if you like. Let's see here. Just wondering, do you have a poli-sci degree? No. Let's see here. Dana Point says they're going to raise the retirement age to 67 or make it so that people never retire. Singer says, what do we do other than vote in 2 years? I want to answer that. Singer therapist, and also Millie Goose says, is there a way to fight back? So, like I was saying, there are ways to fight back, but it's harder. It's going to be a lot harder now. It's going to be a lot harder now because, we are going to have to do a lot more to take care of each other. Our institutions are hobbled. I would take a look at the way that elections work in Russia right now because, technically there are elections, but Putin always wins like 85% of the vote, and there is a ton of evidence that those elections are rigged in his favor. And because they have all 3 levers of government and they are going to fire, government employees and replace them with loyalists, they have the ability to rig elections for Republicans in a way that they did not have before. Now, will they be successful in that? I don't know. Is it possible that we overwhelm the system? Like, so many people vote Democrat that they're cheating will be ineffective. Maybe, I don't know. Is it possible to do, I forget the country that they did this in, but they had, somebody set up an app where people could like record their votes so they could check it against the official tally, and they found that it was like the exact opposite. Like the incumbent lost the election, and the person who was running against the incumbent won the election. And I don't know if, I think what I heard about that story, and you guys got to double check this for me because I'm half remembering it. What I remember about this story is that even though we know now that that's what the election results were, that doesn't really change anything because the people in power are still, not giving up power. They're still insisting that they won the election. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that dictatorships and authoritarian governments try to make it so that elections aren't free anymore. Including throwing their political rivals in jail, which is something that Trump has said he's going to do many, many times, and now he has the ability to. But there are ways to fight, Millie Goose. There are things that we can do, singer therapist. There are. It's just going to be really hard. And what I would suggest doing for anybody who wants to fight and anybody who is worried, I would say check out a couple of different organizations. There's Vote Save America, which is a nonprofit run by Crooked Media that is designed to try to mobilize progressive voters. And they always have great calls to action and things that you can do, places to put your money, places to put your time and energy to try to help things. AOC has also been putting out a lot of really good information about like community building and ways that we can sort of like use small politics to try to help mitigate the disaster of large politics. What I mean by small politics is like city and state, and large politics being national. But yeah, like the things that I did over the past 8 years to try to help politics and to try to make it so that we elected better politicians, I don't know if those things are going to work going forward. Because again, I don't really have faith that elections are going to be free and fair going forward. Now, does that mean that people shouldn't vote? That people should just dip out of the process entirely? Absolutely not. Because if people do that, if people get disengaged, then it makes it easier for them to rig elections. Because then they don't even have to do the work then. They don't even have to pretend that they are, fixing things, because only their people will be coming out to elections. It will accomplish nothing. And that's annoying. It's annoying that we still have to do the things. It's annoying that we still have to go out and vote and organize, even though we know that they're going to put their finger on the scales to try to undo all the work that we have done. But we still have to do it. We still have to do it. We still have to show the world that they are doing this, that they are being shitty and stealing elections, because it matters. You don't want to do the thing where you capitulate before they even make you capitulate. That is one of the ways that authoritarian governments, maintain control over their populations, is by making people feel that things are hopeless and making people feel like nothing that they do will matter. And so they don't even fight. And then the people in charge are able to continue being shitty because they know that people have given up already. So you don't want to do that. Alrighty, let's see here. Rojas 1973 says, do you know what is going to happen with our retirement accounts? I don't. I'm actually kind of worried about that. Let's see here. All right, it's going back down to the bottom. Daisy, those two things go so well together, especially now. What did I say that you're referring to? I don't know. Let's see here. Just sent you a message on there. Cool. Mimi says the Heritage Foundation is in the White House now. Definitely 100%. Yeah. All right. Looks like we are. Oh, all right. Looks like over on Twitch we got. Why do you think Iran-Saudi relations are accelerating so fast? Do you mean that they are becoming closer, or do you mean that the tension between the two is becoming worse? XNV over there. Daisy said, haha, you said that you do comedy and politics. I do. I do comedy and politics. And you said those things go really well together, especially now. I disagree. I think everybody's very sad and angry about this, and I do not know if comedy is going to be the same, especially political comedy going forward. K Kebab says, are all these horrible things going to be signed into law via an executive order or Congress? There are a lot of different ways that they can do it. They can do an executive order, and the ultra right-wing Supreme Court can find in their favor that it is legal, even if it is not. That's number one. Number two, if the ultra-right Supreme Court, develops a backbone and says, Actually, we're on board with all the crazy shit that you normally do, Trump, but this is too far. You've gone too far, and we are ruling against your executive order. He can then say, okay, enforce it. I have the military. I have the National Guard. What do you have, the Supreme Court? What are you going to do? How are you going to stop me? That's the reason why he wants to have loyalists in his cabinet and in every level of government, so that he will be able to command the masses and the throngs of people that are working there. Whoever is control of the various levels of power, they're the ones that get to say what happens. Now, Republicans, I'm sure, will try to pass some bills, and, those bills will be probably shitty, and maybe they will succeed and maybe they won't succeed. But regardless of whether or not they succeed or not, Trump can declare that it passed. He can just say that it did. And then all the relevant agencies that would then have to follow that legislation, those agencies are now being run by Trump's people, by his loyalists. They're going to do what he told them to do, even if the bill didn't pass. Right. Yeah. Singer therapist, I'm having to deal with my therapy clients' fears as well as my own. It's like the pandemic again. Yeah, I completely fucking agree. It's really scary out there. There is a lot of bad stuff coming down the pike. It's not game over, we still can fight and we still can win, but it's going to be a lot harder. And I am not going to tell anybody that they have to be optimistic about the future. Let's see here. I have to laugh or else I'll cry. Yeah, I feel that way too. Millie Gloose. Listen, I hate fear-mongering, but could we be facing World War III with a dictator? I'm a little less worried about World War III than I am about, authoritarian nations invading neighboring nations and America being on their side. I'm less worried about World War III than I am American troops being committed to helping Russia invade Ukraine and all of Europe. I'm much more worried about that than about World War III. And dictatorship, absolutely. I think you should 100% be worried about America turning into a dictatorship, because that's what Project 2025 is turning America into a dictatorship. If we win the presidency, how do we turn America into a dictatorship? Oh, we won the presidency. Great. Now we can do Project 2025, which is turning America into a dictatorship. All right, singer therapist, how do we deal with the fact that people we respected or loved voted for Trump or didn't vote? Well, singer therapist, I have a much more aggressive opinion about that than most people. There are people out there who are going to tell you, and they're probably right, that we need to approach these people with love, that we need to meet them where they are and convince them to come to our side. That shame and anger and scolding is not going to work because it just pushes people further to the right. And I don't know if those people are correct or not. I know that I did a lot of that over the past 8 years, and now I'm mad. And I am not going to do that going forward. I think other people should, but I'm not going to. I'm going to yell at people. I'm going to send threatening emails. My aunt voted for Trump. I sent her an email already. I was like, we're done. My fucking 5th grade teacher, who is friends with my mom, voted for Trump. I sent her an email. I was like, we're fucking done. And I believe that there can be some good from that social pressure. That people realize that the people that you love are just fucking done with you because you have betrayed them. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing or not. I just know that I'm mad. And that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Anyways, Andrea Marie, 2023, no tax on overtime, just admitted that we will need to work many more than 40 hours. Yeah, 100%, Andrea. And also that we're not going to get overtime anymore. There's not going to be any tax on overtime. But there's also not going to be any more overtime because they're changing it to monthly instead, which means that it's only overtime if you work over 160 hours a month, which means they can work you 155 hours in 3 weeks and then just not schedule you for the rest of the week and you get 0 overtime. They can work you 155 hours in 1 week and then just not schedule you for the rest of the month and you don't get any overtime for that. So yeah. All right, we are at about an hour. We do not. Let's see here. Since you're dumb, let me ask an easier question. How many stars are in the U.S. flag? I am pretty dumb, but I'm not so dumb that I don't know how to ban people. Okay, you are out of here. All right, we're at about an hour. We have very small numbers right now, which is crazy how these numbers go up and down. I had 1,000 people watching on Friday, but what are you gonna do? Andrea says I'm a mathematician and already worked that. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But yeah, so we're going to wrap up. I'm going to do my outro. And then if anybody has any final questions, I will answer them after my outro. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. Thank you, everybody, for the gifts. I appreciate any kind of support that you guys can give me, whether it is the money kind, which is, gifts, Patreon, going to my spring store through my website, or the free kind of support, which is just likes and shares and liking my videos and sharing my videos and going to my website and checking out all my other projects and all that good stuff. My DMs are open, and you can also email me through my website if you have any questions. Please give me a follow, give me likes and all that business. New videos come out every Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. Like and share those. I'm trying. So my regular schedule for streaming is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time. And sometimes I'm gonna add to that if I feel like it, because doing these makes me feel better. Tony, I'm not gone yet. Ask your question. So yeah, it's possible you will probably see me on Mondays and Fridays occasionally, but you can count on me being here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at noon. And I am here on TikTok. I'm here on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. So you can also watch me on those platforms. And if we're ever in a situation where my numbers are like back up to the hundreds or the thousands, and you have a question that you want to get answered, my numbers are much smaller on the other platforms, so you can ask your question over there, and it will be easier to be answered. Wait, I have a question. If you work 159 hours in the month, can they call you part-time? So I haven't seen them saying that they're going to do that. But again, Tony, I would say that if they want to do it, they will, because they can. So yeah, that is the case. You have to expect the worst from this government going forward. And that is a real fucking bummer. So I apologize for that. But I did a lot of work to try to keep this from happening, guys. I did a lot of work. And, I guess I didn't do it good enough because here we are. But I tried my best. All right. Any last questions? Now is the time for them. If not, we are going to wrap up. So, yeah.